Hey, welcome back. Paul Cook here, and you've come at a good time if you're pondering the possibility of selling your home, or maybe you're even in the process of selling your home, because we've got this video series that's to sellers, and this is part 2, and it kind of gives that 10,000 foot view of overview of selling your home. So the first part of the video, it's on my YouTube channel. All right, and I just want to give you a quick review. But go back and look at that because it's vitally important on what you're going to do with selling your home. So what is your why? And what are you hoping to accomplish by selling your home? Hey, who's your realtor? Who are you selling this house to? And what do they want to get in selling this home? What do they want in this home? And then what's the price of your home? How do you determine even what that is? And then how are you going to sell this? How are you going to take this home that you have, and how are you going to present it to the people out there so that they not only see it, but desire it? Not only desire it, but come and see it. Not only come and see it, but make an offer on your home. Now we're getting into the more tangible steps in the selling process. Before it was more philosophical. These are kind of nuts and bolts. Marketing your home. Who is your primary target market? We already talked about that some. And what is your marketing plan? So, figuring out who your target market is, like is it first timers or executives or investors, it's absolutely essential to accomplishing your objectives, your why and your what's. This will help to shape your marketing plan, the photos, the shooting, the videos, the creation of compelling marketing flyers and videos and things like that. And also where and when you're going to post it. And you're aiming towards this launch date. All with that in mind. Now, personally, I prefer to have a coming soon time prior to actually launching or showing the home. That's not always possible, but when it is, it's usually 3 or 4 weeks before that process begins. It includes stuff like staging your home, photos, videos, producing the flyers, putting the sign in the yard, posting directional signs from major roads, etc. All right. Secondly, the launch or going live. The launch is the first day. The going live is the first day that it's available for showings. I prefer to come in with a bang. So do a lot of marketing, coming soon, and then it culminates in this incredible open house that puts people in this home to see it all in a brief period of time. And it's all with the aim of selling the home quickly and gaining multiple offers with the least amount of inconvenience to my client, the seller, you. You want to take this with you, this whole idea with you to your real estate professional. You're gonna want to talk this through with them, and you're gonna want to also share with them, hey, what's gonna serve you best? What's the best timing for this to take place? When is the best time of the day for you to be able to have your home available? What's the best weekend? And then have them work around that. Third step in the process that I'm covering is taking offers and negotiating. This is fun, but it also can be stressful. You may have to choose between a number of really good offers, knowing that only one of them can win, so the rest of those people are going to be disappointed. Remember your why and your what during this process is going to help you to understand who you want this to go to. All right. One caveat: it's wonderful to have someone who's doing the negotiating for you, especially if they've been equipped. You get to sit back and let their expertise work for you. And as a real estate professional, that's what we should do. Now, getting the house under contract is when you accept the offer that's been given by a buyer. So it's the culmination of them coming and making an offer, writing it up, any negotiations on prices and terms, and then you, the seller, you accept it, you sign it, and now you are under contract. Congratulations. So from this point on, it could be 10 days or 60 days. In some cases, it's longer until you do close on the house. The norm is usually about 30 to 45 days. And during this time, there are 3 contingency periods that I want to talk to you about. They're the main ones. All right, now there might be other ones in other states, but these are the main ones. First, due diligence period. Second, finance contingency period. And third is the appraisal contingency period. Let me take a couple minutes here to unpack each one. All right, I'm not going to get into extreme detail, but it's going to be helpful for you to know these as you are heading into this process. The due diligence period. During the due diligence period, it's usually 7 to 10 days, might be as much as 14 days, might be as little as 3 days, but usually it's 7 to 10. The buyer's going to put down their earnest money deposit, and usually that's about 1 to 2% of the purchase price. It's going to be held usually by the closing attorney in an escrow account, and then they're going to get the home inspected. Know this, that in the process of this 7 to 10 day due diligence period, that buyer can back out in the state of Georgia. That buyer can back out of that contract for any reason whatsoever. They don't even really need to have a reason. They can back out and they get their earnest money deposit back. So it would behoove you and your agent to get a backup offer if at all possible. And that's another discussion that we can talk about, that we can have. All right, so in this due diligence period, they come back and they say, okay, we have these repairs. Now, I want to kind of set expectations for you. You may have the most wonderfully maintained home, but I can tell you, even on brand new builds, I've gone through and we've done the walkthrough and we've done the inspection, and there have been any number of items, even on the best new builds, that have been there that need to be repaired, replaced. So I'll give you, for instance, had one of my clients buying a house, and the house they were buying was pristine. I mean, it was in better condition than almost every new home that I've even ever sold or shown. And this lady just took incredible care of the home. And my client said, hey, I want to have an inspection anyway. Came in, did the inspection, came back with a report. There were 7 fairly significant items on the list of this home. And this home was only 5-6 years old. And that would have cost my client between $1,500 and $2,500, maybe even a little bit more, depending on who did the work, to get done. That was taken back to the seller, and the seller addressed those and got those things repaired and replaced and fixed. The next contingency is the finance contingency period. Now that can last anywhere between 14 and 21 days, and it's a time period used by the mortgage lender to get all the documentation that they need and go through the underwriting to confirm that the borrower is approved for the loan. If the lender goes through the process and finds the buyer has been rejected for the loan, then the earnest money deposit is returned to the buyer and the sale is ended and your home goes back on the market. Let's talk about the third contingency, and that is the appraisal contingency. It's usually 14 to 21 days as well. That's not added on top of, that's in conjunction with. So 14 to 21 days from the time the house goes under contract, they're going to have the appraiser come out. What the lending institution does is they push a button, and it, in a sense, randomly selects an appraiser that's on their list to go to your home and appraise the value of it for loan purposes. So they're looking at how much is the home valued for, in my opinion. It is an opinion. It's an educated opinion, and it's a calculated opinion. And is it going to be worth what the sale price is and what the mortgage amount would be? Of course, the lender's going to determine that. Now, if it comes back and say it's a $500,000 home, and they say, sorry, you know what, it's appraised at $480,000. Okay, well, then you have some options here. One is the buyer can say, forget it, I don't want to do anything with it. Or second, they can say, hey, $480,000 or nothing. Or they can say, let's negotiate. Now, if they walk away, they get their earnest money back because it didn't get approved, all right? It didn't pass the appraisal contingency. But at the same time, if they want to negotiate and they go through the negotiation and you can't come to terms, same thing, earnest money back, house is back on the market. Now, there are more contingencies than these three, and they can be written in, and there's more to these contingencies than I've stated, but that kind of gives you the general gist. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. A couple more items in the sales process that I want to cover for you, and then we're done with part two of that 10,000 foot view. All right, CDC and the Alta HUD statement. What are these? They're after all the contingencies are completed, and you're waiting on the lender and attorney to clear the title and the balance and to balance the numbers for the closing statement. So the CDC is a clear to close. And that's when the attorney comes back and says, hey, we are clear to close. We've got all these things lined up. The ALTA, which is the American Land Title Association, or the HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Settlement Statement, is the statement that contains all the numbers for the closing. So all the different expenses, all the different income, all right? So the debits and the credits, and then what you're gonna walk away with as seller at the end. You need to ask questions in this process. You don't just take it at face value and say, well, that's what it is. Ask questions, all right? And they're gonna ask you to say, are these numbers correct? You know, talk to your real estate professional about any of the things that you might have questions on, all right? And then what's gonna happen is once you say, yes, they are correct, once the buyer says, yes, they are correct, then you sign off on that, and those are sent back to them, and then your closing is gonna take place in 72 hours or whenever you have it set up. And that's the last point we're gonna go over, all right, is the closing. Woohoo! You made it, all right? So it's almost always at an attorney's office. I mean, there are options where you can sign remotely and things like that, all right? Especially since the whole COVID thing, but even more so now. But let's say it's at an attorney's office and it's still the traditional kind where the seller's there and the buyer's there. You show up, the seller's part is the shortest part, and it's almost all done up front in the first 15 minutes. And the closing lasts 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what's there, all right? In that closing, they're gonna ask you to sign certain documents. You sign the documents, you come back, great. The buyer then takes the rest of the time to sell the to sign the documents. They're walked through it. That's a good time for you to hand off the keys to them, to tell them any little things about the house that you hadn't thought about before. You know, fun little things that they might want to know. It's time to hand them the garage door opener. It's time to hand them documents about the house that maybe is maintenance done on the house, done on the HVAC unit, things like that. It's time to show them the combination to maybe if you have a safe in the house, here's the combination. We left it open for you. Anything like that you have there, it's time to hand that off. And it's time to exchange phone numbers as well as addresses. They need to forward something to you, or they need to get a hold of you because they got a question about the sprinkler system. Well, you've got all that information and you can do that. And then it's also time to congratulate them, you know, shake their hand, and you're done. And you are now homeless, possibly. Hope this is helpful. There are other videos out there on my YouTube site, all right, that YouTube channel that are there to help you. There are a bunch, I don't know if this would even fit you, but there are a bunch that are on probate and estate. A bunch more that are coming on selling your home. So it's going to take a number of these points that we hit and delve into them deeper. And then there are a bunch that are coming that are buyer, all right, as well, buyer videos. So want to be able to serve you. I've got a book free of charge, Selling Your Home for Top Dollar and Fast. I'd be happy to send that to you or drop it by your house. If you're curious about how much your home is worth, I'm happy to do that. That's also free of charge. And hey, don't be a stranger. I might be a stranger to some, but you know what I'm saying. I would love to be able to serve you however I can. Feel free to text or email me or call me if you have other questions. Who knows? I mean, it might be a good topic for a video that is a common question or concern that people have. So just let me know that. And if you need to, my phone number is 706-714-8553. Call me, text me, and until next time, it's fun being with you. God bless you.